The minute they experience the freedom, they sort of go crazy and just want to try all manner of things which are not necessarily productive.
I am your host, Dr. Wanjiku Maruti, and we are continuing this important conversation on preparing our children, not just for university or college, but for life. I'm still joined by my guest, Liz Ndungi, the counseling psychologist who works closely with students navigating these kinds of transitions. Now, today, let's ask an honest question. Where might we, as parents, be getting it wrong?
Thank you, Dr. Maruti, for having me again. These are not easy conversations, but they are necessary if we want to prepare our children well. Many parents prepare their children for exams, academic success. That is what we really focus on, but not for the holistic kind of life. There is a strong focus on grades and performance, but less focus on soft skills like decision making, managing money, handling pressure. So the child succeeds academically, and we are really proud of it. And it's actually not a bad thing, really. But they actually struggle with independence. The minute they experience the freedom, they sort of go crazy and just want to try all manner of things which are not necessarily productive. And on the other hand, that loss of structure sort of disables their life trajectory and they become disorganized and unfocused. And that is why we're having this conversation today.
Thank you, Liz, for helping unpack that a little bit more and bring more clarity to the situation as it is. Because in Kenya, parents invest a lot in our children, financially and emotionally. So when a parent says, I've done everything for my child, what might still be missing?
What may be missing is actually preparation for real life situation. This is actually the core of the matter because the grades will not take them to the workplace. The grades will not help them negotiate. The grades will not help them have, solve conflicts. It is so much more. Some of the questions we would ask is, have we had meaningful conversation with these kids? Have we allowed them to make decisions for themselves, or are we the ones making the decisions? And then now, when they are now going into an environment when they find they are by themselves, we are now having to letting them now make the decision when they had already not been equipped to do that. We allow them to make mistakes, or we want to cover them and shield them from making mistakes. And how do we react when they actually fail? Do we support them or steer them in the right direction? Do we start comparing them, with their relatives or their peers? Why didn't you do like so and so? Why can't you make decisions like so and so? The other thing is also maybe we could have protected them too much. And do we even have that time to listen to them? Those are these questions that probably we may need to ask as parents and just find out where it is that we are doing.
And from what I hear you say is that the real risks are in that now they are on their own, they are managing their own finances, they are managing their own time, they have decisions to take that are now theirs. It's not the parents or the teachers making the decisions for them. Where does the struggle come?
There's so many areas of struggle. I think key areas is on time management. I think that is one key area because they are used to sort of like a structure. This is what you need to do. This is what you need to do, and then now they have to depend on themselves to manage the time. So that actually becomes a problem. Exactly. Some other struggle with managing money. They don't even know how to budget for the money that you allocate them because they've never probably been involved even in the process of budgeting money while they were in high school or within the home environment. Others struggle with social pressure because they have been shielded too much. Others struggle with being assertive or even just taking care of themselves. They don't know when to eat, taking care of themselves in terms of healthy food, basic sleep hygiene, taking care of when to shower, for instance, or when not to shower. They become untidy sometimes, and unless someone calls them out and tells them, hey, you need to clean up. And just please note, we are not saying that these are bad kids. These are well kids. It's only that they have not been equipped well. They don't have the skill set to survive in that particular environment where they find themselves with a lot of freedom. So they're just simply kids who are unprepared for that level of
Thank you for those insights, because then what is coming out is that maybe the real question for us as parents is, have I done enough? But we should be asking ourselves, have I prepared them for independence?
Yeah, that is exactly it, Dr. Maruti, because independence has to be developed intentionally. And like a parent, as I said earlier, you're working as a coach and not sort of like control manager person. You are working with them so that you're building resilience, you're building problem solving, you're building time management, even when they're at home. So these are things that you can actually just build them when, for instance, they come on holiday in as a high schooler. Build these things as you go along, because you don't have a lot of time with them when they go to high school, especially if they're in boarding. But you can, with the time that you have with them, the period of time that you have with them, you can just walk the journey with them so that they are able to know how to care for themselves, to know how to manage their time properly, to know having conversations about healthy meals, having conversations about money management and solving problems and just bouncing back. For instance, if I experience something that is hard, let them see you walking also through that journey, and so that you can also pick some of these things along the way. Yeah, so it is actually possible with intentional parenting.
And I'll just take it a notch higher based on the reality that we have, where we have parents who are quite busy. Both parents are trying to eke a living so that they're able to support these children. What would intentional parenting look like from your perspective?
Well, intentional parenting means just someone who is actually present. Present in the sense that they know who their child is. They know what their needs are. They have conversations with them, and they are having conversations that are not judgmental, non-judgmental conversations. They are also helping them through their journey of decision making and just actively listening in to this particular child, because sometimes they may make even foolish decisions, but you are working with them as a coach and telling and finding out, why did you make the decision? Why not this particular one? Sort of just engaging with them so that you remembering, as in our previous episode, what I said about authority versus influence, that remembering that your authority is sort of diminishing as this particular person grows, and what they need from you is more of influence. And I think we will discuss that more even in the next episode, so that we will focus on the solutions and what readiness actually looks like, because that is something that is very, very important for the parents to think about, and what you can actually start doing immediately. So stay with us and as we continue with this conversation.
Taking us a step further on our journey towards readiness for freedom, and for sharing with us useful insights on what the struggle really is and some of the solutions. So stay with us and do join us as we discuss more in the next session.